This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to the Vet Candy Podcast. In other news, a podcast to expand your idea of what is impacting the veterinary world or veterinarians as humans, brought to you by Vet Candy and Dr. Jen and Dr. Jason Chatfield, and available at myvetcandy.com. If you're not a subscriber, why not? Please subscribe for free today at myvetcandy.com. So today, we've got a little bit of a dynamic show today. So I am currently sitting in, I think, the basement of the San Francisco airport, because as we know, veterinarians sometimes travel. And as always, co-hosting with me is the incredible Jason, Dr. Jason Chatfield.
That's correct. I'm here. Let's go. We got a great show today. I'm fired up.
He's fired up because already we can feel the energy through the cyber world, because we are joined today by Tricia Montgomery. She is the CEO and founder of Canine Fit. Hopefully I got that right, Trish.
It's Canine Fit Club, and thanks so much for having me. Just excited to be here with you guys in different parts of the U.S. I'm in Savannah, Georgia, actually.
Oh, so you have fabulous weather. And Jason,
yes, sweltering and melting.
As always, I'm coming in from Miami, Florida, the southernmost point of the United States. Not really, but we pretend we are all the time.
Excellent, nice. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, so I am super stoked to talk about Canine Fit Club. I mean, is it like Fight Club? Like, do we not talk about?
We try to put some boxing gloves on the dogs, and for some reason it just won't stay on their paws. We tried it, box and barking. I don't know. We haven't done that yet. I think so we could definitely try that though.
Yeah. So the other thing that I want to let our listeners know today is I'm super excited, Tricia, because you get to be here when Dr. Jason and I are beginning another phase of engagement with all of our podcast fans. Okay. So if you would like to contact Dr. Jason or me, Dr. Jen, we have an email address for you. So you can email me at jen@myvetcandy.com, or you can email Dr. Jason at jason@myvetcandy.com.
And those are really original emails, so we hope you guys remember them, okay? We didn't make them too difficult for everyone.
Well, we hope for our podcast listeners this doesn't, strain the intellectual muscle. However, if you email us and if we read your email on a podcast subsequently, then you're going to get a prize straight from Vet Candy.
That's the best way to sell stuff. Make it free.
That's right. And if you mention this podcast with Tricia about Canine Fit, then you're going to get a Vet Candy yoga mat.
And Canine Fit Club is going to throw in a Canine Fit Club water bottle that has Canine Fit Club on it. It is super cool and blue, and you will love it. And it's exciting. I can't wait to be part of this promotion.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. So listen, hold on. I have a question. Am I eligible for either one of those? Because I've already sent 3 emails.
Dr. Jason, you are not eligible.
Okay, nobody made that clear to me.
Well, friends and family are not allowed to participate in this.
And in fact, if you want to know the rules for how this works, go to myvetcandy.com/rules, because as you know, with Aunt Jen, there are always rules.
Yes, everybody knows that for sure. We got several young people that can attest to that. Aunt Jen has a lot of rules.
Yes, so you can find the rules there. Apparently, Dr. Jason's not throwing in, Tricia. It's just Canine Fit Club and My Vet Candy.
Right.
He's got nothing.
He got nothing on us. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. You set me up.
Okay, so let's get down to talking about this, because I'm picturing like dogs on treadmills. What happens at Canine Fit Club, Tricia?
Oh my gosh, what doesn't happen? So first of all, we're Canine Fit Club. We are health, fitness, and wellness at both ends of the leash. It is programmed, scientifically based for you and your dog. What we found out that as we as a nation have gotten more unhealthy, our dogs have gotten unhealthy right beside us. And there's not a lot of options if both you and your dog are unhealthy or overweight. Additionally to that, people who work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, whatever it is, by the time they get home, they're forced between making a decision. Do I go work out, or do I stay home with my dog, or do I have a glass of wine? Or
that's not a hard decision for me.
I can stop you right here. I can just hear the veterinarians going, "What job is that 9 to 5? I want that job. What job is that?"
Well, okay,
Yes.
let's call it 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Whatever
There
that
you go.
is, you've
Let's be
got to
real.
be able to fit in working out or health and wellness into your regime. At Canine Fit Club, we've made it easier. You don't have to make that decision anymore. You can now bring your dog to the gym or to a program or a class with you. We have over 20 science-based programs that people do with their dogs. So
Wait a minute. I got to interrupt you. I got a question because I know our listeners are like saying, what? Like their minds are exploding right now.
I can hear them.
Yes. So, okay. So I heard a lot of words in there. Number one, I heard that me and my dog are fat. And then number two, I heard that this can help with one of those big issues, veterinary wellness.
Correct.
And well-being, right? We know that's a big issue. And number three, you have scientific programs?
We do. We have science-based programs.
For example, what? Can you give me an example of one of them?
Sure, I can. We have a program called Pilates or Namaste Stay or Bow Wow Boot Camp.
That's hilarious. That was really good timing, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Listeners, send us your best doggy workout pun, and we will share it with Tricia.
We've already got to do.
So it's really important because we're not just a bunch of people jumping around with a bunch of dogs. And I think that's very important to note. We are accredited by the National Academy of Sports Medicine. We're accredited by the Obesity Action Coalition. We're recognized by the International Association of Animal Behavior Consultants, Certified Council of Professional Dog Trainers. And we're also recognized by insurance companies such as Aetna or Cigna, United Healthcare, and Medicare. And they pay for people to come to Canine Fit Club classes because of the work that we've done. So there is a science, or what we call a method to our madness when we work out, from the way that we hold a leash, to the way that we do an assessment and evaluation, to the way that we work out in tandem together. Because if you think about this, if you're working out with a dog and you may be unhealthy, or your gait is off, or your dog's gait is off.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We try not to use the word, we try to, it's always positive with us. And that's super important.
I'm positive too. I'm positive.
I'm positive I need to work out.
You just can't help yourself, can you? You just got to throw a pun in every other
I
thing.
have so many. I could keep us going for about a month with all my puns. I am the queen. So it's really important to note that you have to know what you're doing. So when people come into our master training and licensing program, they are taught by our trainers to teach these classes. And they're taught in a manner to where we've been operating since really 2012. And we've had in licensing since 2016, we've never had an injury. We have people and dogs losing thousands of pounds with Canine Fit Club across the country. Because keep in mind, if you are obese, unhealthy, or if you just simply work 9 to 5 or 10 to whatever it is, you don't have the time to really work out. And the dog makes it feel more comfortable for you. So people with dogs are getting 34% more exercise than those without a dog. And the dog is providing the confidence, the security, and he's taking away that embarrassment. What if you have a neurological disorder? What if you have autism? What if you have breast cancer? Any of these elements that people have that we don't even see in our day-to-day world, that all of a sudden the dog is making it okay. And he's providing, here we go, the motivation for you to work out.
Now we're getting way out there.
I know. So it's doing more with our dogs, but doing more in a healthy manner than just feeding them treats and sitting on the couch and loving them and bonding with them and providing a closer bond with you and your dog together, but doing so in a manner that is not only according to a standard of excellence, but according to and in keeping with national fitness associations and the association.
Very structured, Tricia. It sounds like I don't just show up with my dog. I show up with my dog, but then you say, "Hey, I know you don't know anything about working out with your dog. Let me help you."
Right.
Let me tell you, when I first heard this, I thought this was like doggy daycare while I work out, which was, hey, that's not a terrible idea either, but this is much more involved and something that it sounds very, very interesting. And man, your passion for this whole situation really shines through, and it's fabulous. So we're gonna let you continue on telling us all about it. But yes, very structured. Carry on with that.
I actually have a question. I have a question because I know a lot of our listeners are veterinarians or they work in the veterinary field. And you're using the lingo. So what is your background that caused you to put, you didn't just wake up one day and say, Fight Club, Canine Fit Club. How did you find yourself saying, yes, let's take our dogs to the gym?
Sure. So my background comes from veterinary medicine, the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association. I used to be morbidly obese and thankful to a beautiful veterinarian who looked at me and said, both my dog and I, Louie, were gaining weight. And Louie had the onset.
She is not overweight now. You can't see her, but we can.
We don't actually believe that she ever was.
I was.
Beautiful.
No, I used to weigh 268 pounds, and some people tend to round up. So
not 270.
Not so much.
Never made it 270.
Quit adding pounds to my weight.
Yeah.
No, he said every time I come in, not only was Louie gaining weight, he now had the onset of diabetes, but as professional as he could, and he was an older veterinarian. You're not getting any thinner, Patricia. And that really changed my life forever. I went home, and I don't know if anybody's like me, but when I get upset, or I used to eat and eat and eat, and the coulda, shoulda, woulda brothers came out with like a passion and, well, if you only have brown hair, if you only were this, and that was my life. And I went back and I made an appointment, asked him basically, made an appointment and began learning about veterinary medicine, began learning about the front end and the office and the medical associated with veterinary medicine and with a veterinary practice. And I went on to become public education director and executive director for the Chicago Veterinary Medical Association. What? And I served with them. And so along the way, I learned so much I grew up in the veterinary profession, and we saw the rising trend in canine obesity. And at that time, Dr. Ernie Ward was just getting started on on the Association of Pet Obesity Prevention and looking at the growing trend of obesity in both dogs and cats. And looking at that as a correlation between humans and canines, and that similar to my story, that when you sat across from a dog owner that was unhealthy or overweight, that owner was more than likely unhealthy or overweight because it transcends, it goes up and down the leash. And so when I'm feeding myself,
and it's a difficult conversation sometimes for practitioners standing in an exam room because everyone has their own different communication style. Everyone is at a different place in their life and a different comfort level with themselves.
Right.
And so the most effective form of communication is the one that's going to bring about the behavior modification you're looking for. Right. And so it may be blunt or it may be super circular. You can't tell. And it's hard for us as veterinarians.
It is.
So let me ask you, because you've been through this from the other side, how do we have those conversations? Because you had a veterinarian who kind of opened your eyes, it sounds like, to your situation then with you and your pet.
Right.
How did that start? How did it make you feel? What would be your recommendation to veterinarians in an exam room?
I think that, first of all, it's got to come from love, and it's got to come from the heart and caring. And because you don't want to lose a client. And if you upset somebody, if you're on the wrong side of that conversation, then you may never see that client again. And that client that client is going to tell, it's the 80-20 law. They're going to tell other people. And so I think it's having a delicate conversation, but it's also having an honest conversation and saying, I care not just about Fido. I care not just about Rover. I care about you. And here's what we're starting. Here's what you're thinking. Have you thought about this? Now, we also know that nutrition plays a huge component of this. We know that. But if you combine the proper nutrition from the veterinary standpoint and the canine nutrition with that, and you combine that with exercise, you're going to get such a substantial reward for that. And plus, that client is never going to leave you. Oh, my goodness gracious. Wait, that's not on page 54. You didn't learn that in vet school.
No.
You care about me? You care about my dog? I'm never leaving you. You have something to offer me within your hospital? We have veterinary clinics across the country right now that have Canine Fit Club going. And it's crazy because what they're doing is they're turning the tables on veterinary medicine. They're introducing health and wellness for both ends of the leash. They're now caring about the client, the dog, the health and the wellness, and then adding so many other things to it because it allows you to talk to clients in a totally different manner than you would ever talk to them before. Whether it's Adobe Animal Hospital in San Francisco, who is part of Canine Fit Club, or we've got West Ridge Animal Hospital, but we've got them all over the country. And
how fantastic.
It's absolutely amazing to see these veterinarians because keep in mind, I owe my life to the veterinary profession. I just do. I'll choke up here.
Wow.
I do. It's my family. I grew up there.
Yeah.
And to me, this is our give back.
Yeah.
To give, because some veterinarians struggle with their practices right now because there's so much that you can offer and do.
I think we do. And I can see that Dr. Jason has a question. So, folks, we're going to take
listen, I didn't want to interrupt any of that passion because it's so great. It's coming through. It's fantastic.
I know. But, Jason, you and I both know we have to take a break. So we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back. And people, be prepared. I'm going to ask about cats. So we'll be back after a short break.
Has your pet ever suffered from digestive issues, anxiety, or joint pain? We want to address these issues and more with high-grade CBD oil from Alpha, made specifically for your furry friends. Using Alaskan salmon oil as a carrier, Alpha Pet's 500 CBD oil is lab-tested for quality, consistency, and safety. Plus, we are giving Pet Life Radio listeners 25% off and free shipping with code PL25 for a limited time. So visit myalphacbd.com/dogs now. That's myalphacbd.com/dogs. Because your furry friends are family.
Vet Candy makes your life easier with scientific news, clinical updates, and expert lifestyle tips. Sign up for free at myvetcandy.com and start making your life sweeter.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Vet Candy and Other News. We have Tricia Montgomery with Canine Fit Club, Dr. Jason, and we've been hearing this incredible story where Tricia has just credited the veterinary profession with saving her life by talking to her about her own health and wellness in the context of that of her dog. Okay, so Dr. Jason, you had a question. We're all ready.
Yes, it's a very
The anticipation is building.
It's incredible.
It's gonna blow your mind. So what do you do? I went to the website, saw some pictures, looks fantastic. A lot of really well-trained dogs hanging out, working out. What do you do? How do you handle it if someone wants to come and do this with their dog, but their dog's not, shall we say, well-behaved? Is that a requirement that you have to have, or how does that work? I'm sure you've run into this. You've been doing this for a while. I'm sure you've run into it. How do you handle that?
So first of all, we have a health assessment and evaluation that we provide to both the human and the canine to determine which class is right for them. It might turn out to be if the dog is reactive around other dogs or a fear-based dog, we may have them into a private session. But we also find that dogs that we think are misbehaved, it really may be the owner that needs to be educated. And so by the time, hello.
Everyone has their surprise face
Yeah.
on right now.
So keep in mind that within really 10 minutes of a class starting, that dog, you're getting that interaction. You're looking down at your dog. You're both moving in tandem together. All of a sudden, the dog, it's in sync. And you're doing station exercises. You're doing movement exercises. You're doing exercises that challenge them, not only physically, but mentally as well. And so that's a huge component of it. So we find that most people, I'm going to say most, that when they say, oh, my dog would never do that, those dogs do it. Because the person gets educated, the person gets trained, and because of that coordination between the human and the canine, holding the leash in the proper manner, looking at the dog, providing that positive reinforcement, providing that eye contact to the dog through the human and its owner, it just works.
So this sounds like a positive thing all the way through from
it is.
And even at home. Like it's a whole lifestyle change.
Yeah. It is.
I go work out with my dog. Like it is much more involved and all-encompassing than that. So I think that's really, really interesting.
It really is. And I do want to address something. Although you said structured a minute ago, we are structured, but we're fun. So we're not like...
How could it not be fun, Tricia, if you were the founder?
There's like dogs licking. It says all dogs are on leash, first of all, and there's no nose-to-nose interaction with other dogs.
Oh,
we want to make sure, there has to be a safety.
And what about humans? No nose-to-nose happening there?
Usually nose to butt, but that's okay. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I say that because, I know a lot of people don't realize. They'll say, oh, no, my dog loves other dogs. And they probably have the most obnoxious dog in the room.
Yeah,
you know,
that's correct.
and you probably have to deal with that a lot. And so I'm glad to hear that it sounds like you kind of phase people in based on that initial assessment and their skill level there. So I have to ask about this. Do you guys discriminate? So is it dogs only? Can cats come? And also, you got to tell the truth about which breed is best at the gym, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
100%.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So first of all, no, we are not an exclusive club. We're very inclusive. All dogs and dog breeds are welcome. And you'll find a Chihuahua next to a Great Dane. You'll find a Dachshund next to, a Labradoodle. So you'll
Okay,
find
but is the Pekingese really keeping up with the Border Collie? That's what I want to know. I love them both.
Yeah, we do station work. And so what we want to do is everyone moves together in tandem. We're going through station work. We're going to, whether it's a Namasit stay class or Papalais or begging for beginner class or whatever it is, we want to make sure that person and the dog is having fun in that process. And so everybody.
How could you not have, I hate to interrupt you, but this is too much for me. How could you not have fun with Namasit stay? That is I know you said it earlier. How could you not, I kind of want to go do this, right? And I'm not really that guy, right, at all. But I would love to come check this out. This sounds so awesome.
Tricia, do you know how incredible this is? He doesn't like to leave his basement office. Look at where he is right now. He's in his basement office, and he's happy to sit there, right? He doesn't want to go. I can't believe you're motivating Dr. Jason to get up and at him.
I'm going to go watch.
Well, no, because you're adding the dog, and that's the reason why.
Fun, right?
You're adding that. So, Namasit Stay is our version of yoga with dogs. The dogs are on leash. First of all, we're overseen by the veterinary profession, so it's super important. We're not manipulating dogs in any way. That
was my question. I was going to ask you, do the people have to, for their dog, do they have to have a letter from their veterinarian saying that their dog can do this or what have you? Do you have a standard letter that they take to their veterinarian, or how's that work?
We do. We have a Healthy to Participate form that their veterinarian signs off on. And again, we have worked with veterinarians, Dr. Ernie, Dr. David Levine, and so many others regarding these programs.
Awesome.
And Becky Mosser. And so it's so super important that what we do is health-based and science-based for both people and dogs, and that it's safe for them, because just like you wouldn't go into an Equinox gym or a Lifetime Fitness and work out with a personal trainer without an assessment, we're doing the same thing. So even for a group fitness class, we're making sure that you're okay to exercise and your dog's okay to exercise, because what we don't want to do is provide harm and injury.
So no pain, no gain. That doesn't go at Canine Fit Club.
Does not go at all. Absolutely not. That is not.
That is such an outdated concept.
Oh, is that right?
Bringing it up for? Come on.
How about
you dated yourself, which makes you dated me? It's ridiculous. Don't bring that up.
How about get rough, get buff?
Of course. Of course. Why not? Why not? Bring them all.
That's a pun for every day. This is incredible. Okay. So there's so much information. Tricia, where can our listeners go if they're interested in finding out if there's a Canine Fit Club where they are, or if they're a veterinarian and they're interested at maybe starting one?
Sure.
Where can they go? What do they do?
Absolutely. They can go to caninefitclub.com and just look at the information, and they can contact us, and we'd love to have them. We have a Next Master training session coming up in Palm Beach Gardens, September 6th through the 8th, and welcoming locations all across the country for this, and we're super excited about it.
Oh, how fantastic. So we'll put a link also up with the podcast, and Mark, our trusty producer, will help make sure that we get that up, but we'll put the link up with the podcast so that if you're listening, you can get it there as well.
And if anybody's interested in attending a Canine Fit Club class, again, we have locations across the U.S. and Canada. We'd love to see you guys. And so we'll connect that person with that location if there's a location within that area. And if there's not a location in that area, well, let's start one,
Let's start one. We love it. We love it. Well, wonderful. So Tricia Montgomery, I don't think we've had this much juice, this much energy on our podcast in a while. So thank you so very much for joining us and bringing your passion for a One Health approach to addressing physical.
One Health, I love it. And you did an excellent job of skating the which breed is best question. And Dr. Jason to the fire, so good for her. It's fine. You're there. It's not appropriate. We all have our opinions, and those opinions are correct. So
that's right. Our opinions are correct.
And I wouldn't want to differ with those.
Anyhow, so once again, you can contact us here at Vet Candy and Other News at jen@myvetcandy.com or jason@myvetcandy.com. And if you email us and we use your email, what's that?
Make it good. We'll read it.
Make it good. It's true. We're going to take time. We're going to read them all. But if you mention this podcast with Tricia Montgomery and Canine Fit Club in your email, and we use your email on a subsequent podcast, we're going to send you not only a Vet Candy yoga mat to help you get in shape, that may be the start you need, but also Tricia and Canine Fit Club are throwing in a water bottle so you can stay hydrated while you and your doggy are working out. So once again, thanks so much for joining us, Tricia.
You especially need the water bottle when you're doing the bark and burn.
Yes.
Bark and burn. That's right. This will be our podcast of puns. But thank you so much for joining us. We love it. We love the idea. We'll put the link up with the podcast. And that's what we have for you on In Other News. So I'm going to sign off from San Francisco Airport. Jason?
I'm signing off from Miami. You're going to go out and enjoy the sun.
That's right. And Tricia, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Let's Talk Pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.